Okay, you crazy gang. Let us get underway, shall we? Who has just a bit more energy left today? You've got some energy. You still got the post these.
Okay.
I think some do. All right, we're going to do our best to certainly wake you up a bit. It's going to be fun. This session is Make Your Vision Come Alive. I mean, that sounds fun, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm Ben, in case we haven't met.
I'm Axelle, from Belgium. He's from Sydney, Australia. Why did I get applause?
Click it. That's right. And Axelle is from Belgium. And look, we're really grateful to have you in this session. This is something that we're really passionate about. We love it when anyone can express their ideas and their vision and their plans, not only with words. I think we're really good at that, you know, but with pictures. And as you'll find out, you don't even need to draw the pictures yourself, but for the purposes of this afternoon, you certainly will be doing some drawing. Everyone's just went. Do you want to ask you a question about drawing?
What?
No. What? How comfy?
Oh, yeah, but it's almost the same audience as this morning, or am
That's
I
very-
wrong? So who of you is still drawing today to make their point in communication? Who is confident or is drawing?
Whiteboarding.
Yeah,
Whiteboarding.
whiteboarding, doodling, whatever. Everything that looks like drawing is okay. It doesn't have to be an artwork. Okay, yeah, so like I said, it's much higher than we're used to, so we will raise up the bar a little bit.
Already?
I see that some people don't have paper. I will come very soon to you with paper because you can't draw on the desk. Not allowed.
By the way, do circles and arrows count as drawing?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
As Axelle said, it's important that you have something to draw on, not the table, and something to draw with. So if once we sort of get going and there's time for you to draw, if you are missing anything, raise your hand, let us know. I think we are running short on markers.
Yep.
So we'll get creative with that. You might need to share if you've got multiple markers, so we can figure that out. All right, what are we doing over the next 90 minutes? Axelle and I want to show you basically three things. First of all, we're going to get into what's wrong with vision statements. Some are great, some are not so great. What's wrong with them? And how can we make them better? And that's where the second thing comes in. We've got three ways to help you use drawing to make your vision come alive. And we want to leave some time for Q&A as well. By all means, if you have questions in the meantime, do please shout out.
Yep.
Okay, now, vision statements are good. Who agrees vision statements are good? A few, yeah, definitely more than. Who's awake? Vision statements, when done well, they do inspire us, don't they? And they remind us what's important, like they remind us what matters to us. And a great vision statement actually drives standards, maybe even the values that a team or an organisation uphold to say, this is the standard by which we work. This is the level that we hold ourselves accountable to. It can inform priorities. I'm sure in your job you might have multiple options and you have to prioritise. And it's often something higher level in the organisation that needs to be there to guide you to prioritise. And thirdly, having a great vision statement attracts and aligns employees and members of a community. A great vision statement can attract people that are most appropriate for a particular organisation and maybe send a signal to others to go, maybe that's not the organisation for me. So vision statements done well are really useful. For example, I love Airbnb's one, belong anywhere. Really simple, really powerful. Does that resonate with anyone here? Like that idea of like a home can be anywhere?
Yeah.
It's a nice vision statement. And by the way, vision statements are all about what future you would like to see. Lego's one is good, a global force for learning through play. I thought that was interesting. I didn't think that one would be Lego, but it is. Tesla, create the most compelling car company of the 21st century by driving, pardon the pun, not my pun, this is their words, by driving the world's transition to electric vehicles. So it's not just a car company, it's a vector toward having more, the full transition to electric vehicles. Yeah.
I have a question. There's often a confusion between a vision statement and a mission statement. Are you gonna cover that?
No, because of time, but we can certainly talk to that. Yeah. Do you want me to talk to that?
Yeah, talk a little.
Sure. And now, look, I'm just going on the training that I've had. Like, I'm a big strategy nut. I like Richard Brumelt. I like Roger Martin. And for me, the difference between a vision statement and a mission statement is a vision statement is all about this is the future we want to see. So it's full of nouns. It's a state. A mission statement captures how we're going to get there. The mission statements are about verbs. They tend to start with a verb. You know, we want to. In fact, Tesla's one is almost more like a mission statement. We want to create the most compelling car company. I would say their implied vision is a world where all the vehicles are electric.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, does that help?
Yeah, I could basically extract the vision from that whole thing and then make separation.
Yeah. For some, they're interchangeable. In fact, I've worked with a lot of executive groups that actually use the word. I don't know if this is a thing in America, but in Australia, some executive groups will say, yeah, this is our vision mission statement. Drives me nuts. It's like, we don't know what it is, so we're just going to put the two words together. Point being, I think the idea is to have a big idea that drives everyone in the team, everyone in the organisation. Yeah. And again, that's something that I think, I'm sure there's other opinions in the room, there always are. But for the purposes of this afternoon, we're going with visualising the vision, like visualising that future state that we want. Yeah. Okay, so time to grab the person next to you, figuratively, like please don't grab it. Yeah. So pair up. It might be the person next to you. It might be someone behind you. People at the back. There is no one behind you. I don't think. But find a partner and discuss together for the next few minutes, based on your experience. What's wrong with vision statements? What can go wrong with it? What's hard about coming up
Somewhere like.
Thank you. That's really catching on, isn't it? Is that being done in other sessions as well? Probably. Yeah. Okay, dying to know what you were talking about. When I hope some of what you were talking about was this question. What did you talk about? Like, what's hard about coming up with vision statements?
Finding the right attitude, like if it's too low, it's just another day of work.
Yes.
And if it's too high, it's disconnected and people don't actually.
That's a good one. Yeah, yeah. The altitude has to be right. Hey, it can't be so aspirational as to be unachievable or too vague, and it can't be too low a level. Yeah, last one.
And also it should show the outcome or the result of it in your vision statement, right? So it has to have a end or a dot.
Love that. Love that. It has to have an end or a dot. It's an end state. Yeah, yeah. I think there's some might argue with that, like say, well, it is a journey. But I think if that's all it is, it can lose something. Yeah, it needs to have an end, doesn't it? Good one. Yep.
Lack of clarity.
Yes. Lack of clarity.
Sometimes lack of juice. So it's like not compelling enough for me to like wanna be pulled or a part of the journey to get there.
Yeah, yeah. Because you want to be part of whatever this thing is. Yeah.
It's unreal.
Unreal. Unreal as in unreal, or unreal as in
It's not attainable.
not attainable. Yeah.
Aligned to the lack of juice, lack of connection. To get to a really good one, it has to connect with people,
Yes.
and most of them don't.
Yes.
So
It could be limiting.
Limited.
Yeah, like the Tesla one, if you're only limiting yourself to electric vehicles, are you not thinking about other potential possibilities because you're focusing so much on that?
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? Did you read that one and like it raised questions for you? As in,
Yeah.
were you wondering like, is that limiting?
Well, they only talked about electric vehicles and,
Think about power walls and solar.
Yeah.
And that's outside of the.
the vision, yeah.
So that's, and maybe it's part of this end thing, like it has to have some kind of scope.
Yeah.
But and to echo too off the altitude one as well, like it's still got a, coming back to what you originally said, like it has to have some sort of limit. Yeah.
Sometimes it was defined long back and predefined based on like in the real problems in the current scenarios.
Say that again, sorry.
Sometimes it was defined long back and they didn't reach a point that vision statement based on like in the real world scenarios.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have.
Yeah, we're talking about it not being unique, like being super generic, so that any company could have a same type of that.
That's a good one. Yeah, yeah. If it sounds like something that any company would do, and this happened. Has anyone heard vision statements like, we want to be the best in the world at customer service?
Yeah, so
We want to suck at customer service.
Oh, yeah, that's completely obvious. Thank you. A couple more, yeah.
It's really a vision statement. It's kind of hard to show the picture that you're trying to show to the mass with a statement. And I find it very difficult to come up with a vision statement, like even for creating a team, to create a vision statement for the team, it's very hard to get everybody on board and show the same picture that I'm seeing or someone else is seeing.
Right, Right. And something, if it doesn't come up during this session, I think it's good to think of this as a process and a product. Like just because you're struggling to come up with one picture that really captures the vision the first time, that's okay. Like it's an iteration, it's a process. And sometimes it does take multiple people to come up with a picture that resonates with everyone. Yeah. There's one more up here. Yeah.
Yeah, it taps on what we heard before, but I really don't like world peace mission statements, where sustainability is just included because it had to be included, or so maybe in country what was said around the Tesla one, I mean maybe even find it already a bit too big, because how can you be the force that the car manufacturers will all be electric, or and I think Tesla can still do it for somebody, but there's a lot of companies that are now going to make these kind of statements where I find, well, that's a little bit over the top.
Yeah, yes. That reminds me of one. Has anyone ever, I don't know, been in a vision meeting or seen a vision statement where it feels like, you know, everyone has to have a go. We have to make sure everyone's happy, have their own part, and you end up with like a Franken vision. You know, it's like, what is this? It happens a lot. You can preach, brother. Yeah. All right. How do we go? Oh, wow. Love it. Well, when Axelle and I were putting this together, I think we had some ideas. But as we said, like it has its challenges, both the process side, coming up with a vision statement, and the product side, what the statement actually is. But done well, using visuals with coming up with a vision statement makes the process better. And it's kind of funny, like the word is vision. It's about what we see in our mind's eye. And luckily, we can use the talents of people like Axelle to extract what is, you know, in people's minds and out onto that picture that we can all relate with. So visualizing goals increases the likelihood of reaching those goals. There's a lot of neuroscience around that.
Yeah.
Using pictures makes the vision clearer and more tangible, to your point. And showing others what a vision is always going to be more compelling than just telling them. Does that make sense?
And it's true, it's sometimes funny that people think they have a vision, and I see that I think, oh, this is not easy or not good enough. But at that point I can't tell them, because sometimes they have like spent weeks or months on working on a vision. I get it, like, oh my God. And then they ask me to draw it, and I draw it, and then they say, it's not good enough. It's not, the drawing is not specific enough about what we want to show. And then they sometimes change the vision because they see that the vision is not compelling enough by seeing the picture. But sometimes that really helps. We even have that with video sometimes, that we draw, they make a script for a video to talk about strategy of vision. We draw what they say, and then they say, oh, this is not what we want to tell. So that's something sometimes very confronting for them.
Yeah. And that's almost like another point that we should put on there. If we do this again, we should have that fourth point to say, actually showing people a rough draft improves the vision itself. Yeah. Okay. What's next? Oh yeah, 3 ways to make your vision come alive. That's what you're here for, isn't it? So what Axelle and I wanted to show you is 3 approaches you can use visuals or drawing in particular to help you come up with a vision and communicate it. So you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to be drawing, which is cool, and you are. But I'm going to be drawing things in the future, and you might, and that's all great. But what we want to show you is that the act of drawing is just as insightful for you mentally, internally, as well as what you'll end up showing other people. So the first thing we're going to show you is draw to organize, just to get your own thoughts out in a structured fashion out into the world. So we're going to be doing that. Then we're going to be drawing to dream. Sounds nice, doesn't it? You're going to draw to dream, and this is where, you can draw whatever you like. It can be puppies and kittens and trees and things like that you want to see in your world. It could be really abstract. That's totally up to you. But it's about dreaming. It's about parking the how and thinking, well, what do I really want to see? And then the third thing is draw to show. So after those first two, we get to the point where we now want to show others what our vision is. Make sense? Sound good? Are we in for it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I just add something? I think what you said is triggered very much. Kids are very good at drawing what they want and what to dream. They'll draw a puppy, they'll draw an ice cream. The parents just melt, oh my God, my kid wants this. I should give them this.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah. And something happens along the way in school.
Yeah.
And actually, do you want to talk to this?
No, yeah, it's schools and companies. I did the talk this morning about it a little bit. What happened, it's around, in Belgium, it's around the age of 12, 8 to 12, somewhere.
Yeah.
You grow up and you are supposed to stop drawing. And someone told me recently, it's like when you're small, you get like a clothes hanger at school. I don't know if you have the same in the US, you have a clothes hanger. And this clothes hanger has a drawing. You are a banana, you are a dolphin, you are whatever, a cat. You get a clothes hanger. And then you grow up, and at the age around 10, you don't get a picture anymore. You get a number, you get a word. They stop using visuals because you grow up.
Right.
And then on top of that, you have the judgment. You start drawing something, and someone says, "Oh, stop drawing. You don't have talent." No. So there are so many dynamics at school and then later in companies that just are not stimulating you to draw.
Oh, it's such a tide that we have to fight, and fight we must. I think, I do get really riled up about this, right? Like, it is a superpower that you already have. Axelle and I just want you to tap into it. And it's part of leading others as well as leading yourself. All right. So first thing, draw to organize. What do we mean by that? You said looking for a marker. Now, what we want to show you, is anyone familiar with the business model canvas? Yeah, right. Woo. Why do you think the business model canvas is effective?
Helps you to see the concepts and the connections.
You see the concepts and the connections.
Guides your analysis, guides your thought.
It guides it, can I dig into that? How does it guide your thoughts?
Focusing on specific dimensions of that problem.
Yeah, that's right. It has labels in the boxes that focus your thoughts. Thank you, sir. Like, that's the word I was looking for.
And simple.
Focus. And so what we want to.
Said also it's simple.
It is simple, yeah,
It's simple.
it's very simple. So memorable.
Simple and memorable. I beg your pardon. And so what Axelle and I want to show you, it's a bit like a business model canvas. It's a canvas, so it's a bento box that you fill in. And you're going to be drawing your own in a minute, but actually I don't need to draw it because it's right there. Real easy. It's like a 2x2 with a circle in the middle. And to your point, I think you're asking about the vision and mission statement. Has anyone been in a meeting when you're there to work out a vision statement and half an hour goes by and people are still arguing about what a vision statement is or mission? It drives me nuts. So this is an antidote to that. So this is where you can say to your people, cool, let's just follow the panels around, and at any point, if you want to put stuff in about a mission, go for it. If you have a vision in mind, go for it. If you're more a purpose guy, I'm actually more of a purpose statement guy, go for it. So what do we got here? It's just a place where you can start to put your thoughts. Like I said, it's just organizing your thoughts. Yes, you can draw if you want to, but at this point, text is perfectly fine. So it's like journaling. You can do it in the comfort and privacy of your own laptop or your own notebook. You can do it as a team, as a leadership group. But the point is, it gives people enough guidance, that structure and focus. So vision, we see a world where blah, 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 blah.
I will translate it maybe to Drawify to have an example. I think it's easier afterwards because you will have to do this exercise yourself. So maybe we see a world where all business communication is translated to visual summaries, for instance. I'm just making this up now, right? So more or less.
You're not making up, like you're a CEO, like, you
No,
know.
no, yeah, I should know it. Yeah, so we see a world, a business world where information is translated to visual summaries. That's what we see. You don't see it maybe yet, but I see it. So
I'm glad you do, because that's what a vision is, isn't it? And leaders need a vision. Impact they have. It's not about you, it's not about the organization, it's about them, it's about the world. So what's that dent you want to make in the universe? They have.
they have, can you make it more concrete? Because I have difficulties with.
In future, like if everyone was using Drawify, what result happens?
It's easy for them to bring their message across, or they have more impact with their communication. That could be impact. They have more result, they have more impact, more engagement.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with your impact being helping other people have an impact. I mean, look at education, you know. Point of view, I love this one. Why do we have this vision? We see. Why do we want this impact they have? Because we believe, whatever your point of view is, great strategy declares a point of view.
Yeah.
If you don't, be prepared for a world of complication and arguments. When everyone has to kind of have their part and you have your Franken vision and you have your Franken roadmap, get ready to spend more money than you have in the budget, right? Who's had this experience? Complications because the right decisions weren't made early enough. Yeah.
We believe that our brain processes information much easier with the drawing.
Love that. And that's the thing. The belief can be actually backed by research. It doesn't have to be a hunch. It could just be a hunch. Like this is how startups start up. Yeah, like they're fired on a hunch, on a point of view. So that might resonate.
Vision and the point of view, do they always like have 101 mapping, or you can have multiple point of views with one vision?
Good question. There could be multiple points of view. Yeah, as long as they're coherent, as long as they fit together, as long as they're not opposing. Yeah. But good point. Sometimes there are opposing points of view.
Yeah, that happened in like some of the conversations we have about vision and coming up with like those things, and like both point of views are correct and make sense, but they are like kind of conflicting or opposite.
Yeah. Sometimes points of view are shorter term and a vision is longer term. And yeah, you think, well, we acknowledge that these are in conflict right now, but it's not like one's going to win in the end, and I hope I'm right. But it's to say, well, sure, we might have a conflicting point of view right now, but we are united in that vision. Hello, diplomacy, you know, like, hello, fiscal management. Does anyone work in government here? I mean, everyone's got a point of view on how public money should be spent. You know? And this one, okay, if I get excited about point of view, I get really excited about common enemy. There should be no more
bullet points. Boring bullet points.
Yeah.
I said boring bullet points. That's like, you know, the boring bullet points you get to process in any kind of meeting.
This one's great. Like, what is it that you want to rid the world of? That the people that you serve here for this impact, that they want to get rid of too. And so finally, the one in the middle is purpose. Like, we exist too. So the statement we read from Tesla before about we want to accelerate the transition to electric vehicles, that's more of a purpose statement. Now you might, as I said, start with purpose. You might start at one of these, but what you end up doing is you have bits and pieces. You don't have to fill it all in, but you have bits and pieces that then it's laid out for you and go, okay, that part and that part work together. Quick examples, Lego. Their vision, as we saw before, is a global force for learning through play. The impact and this is from their website, by the way, is that children learn essential skills such as problem solving, spatial skills, and understanding task breakdown through play. And their point of view is children are our role models. Not everyone will have that point of view, but Lego choose to have that point of view. And the purpose then is we inspire and develop the leaders of tomorrow. Notice they don't have a common enemy. They're not relevant for them. Whereas on the other hand, Nike do. They want to crush Adidas or Adidas. Do you say Adidas or Adidas here?
Adidas.
Adidas. That's really important to them. But they have a point of view that I really like. If you have a body, you're an athlete. That alone can be really inspiring. That can make you go, I want to work for that company. You know, I want to, you know, because that's what I believe. I want to go into a Nike shop because that's what I believe. So as I said, you don't have to fill it all in, but it's enough just to get the juices going and capture the vague stuff that's in here and make it a bit more concrete, even words. Make sense? We want it to make sense because now it's your turn.
How come there's no impact? Like, how can I have a company doing something with no impact?
That's a great question. How can they?
Yeah,
So, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be facetious, but what it can certainly do is to help make the vague and help a bunch of people unite around the same idea of what that impact should be. Yeah. So sometimes just it's an exercise in alignment. So it's your turn. We don't have a lot of time, but for the purpose of the exercise, it's nice if you think about like what might be your vision. So thinking about what you've picked up at the conference so far. I know today's theme is changing lives. There could be something about that. Like, what impact do you want to make in the world? What's the dent you want to make?
It can also be a vision for your team, for your organization, for you. It doesn't have to be from here. If you have one, use it. But maybe it's easier to stay here in this event for some people.
Yeah.
And like Ben said, you can use words, but it might be also a trap to lose yourself in words. So sometimes just trying to visualize it, draw it, will help you to narrow it down because you have less ability to draw than to write. So you have to choose and it forces you to choice, which is also helpful.
Yeah, that's right. Now, to be abundantly clear, you don't have to come up with one crisp statement. So this is about the process, not the product. It's fine if you have different pieces in different boxes. Because in fact, it's good if you have different pieces in different boxes because we'll need that for the next activity. Right, I'll give you what, good 5 minutes? Yeah, have a think. And ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the parts of this conference where we really want you to extract value from your time at this conference. I'm not saying that in case you're not going to do it, but the idea is if you're here to really learn at this conference, if you really want to have the content of this conference sink in and so you can marinate it and do something with all this great content, this is a way to do it. Okay, I'll shut up, 5 minutes. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
I'm struggling a little bit. Can you, can you
Yeah,
say in that one.
so what is the impact that you have on people that are the
In the future.
receivers of your vision? Yeah,
In the future.
yeah,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
And that's different from point of view.
Because the they have is about others who are at the receiving end of what you do. And
Alex.
point of view is very much
Alex.
self.
Can you go back to the previous slide? Can you go back to the previous slide by Lego?
Yes.
Just want to look at it as an example.
Yeah, well, that would indeed help. The Lego example, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
So the impact on children is that they learn essential skills. And I don't have
Because
my
that's
glasses, so I
also
can't
kind of
read.
their, is that their point of view, or is it market research?
I'll read it because I don't have my. No, so it's an impact that Lego has on the children. So they learn the skills through using Lego in a way that they'll become very intelligent on this one. So it's an impact of the fact that children can play Lego. There's no Lego in the world.
Yeah.
The kids will learn that. So that's about impact. If they would not be there, what would the world miss? So that's the impact. Yeah. Really what you believe as a company. That it's given.
A little bit over a minute to go. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. The differences.
Draw it.
Everybody done, more or less?
All right. Okay. Any reflections on that? How was that for you? Any insights?
For me, it was quite deep because changing lives has so many dimensions
Mhm.
that it was hard for me to figure out where specifically I wanted to focus on the change. So I went like really broad. Well, we'll see.
Any other insights or comments on what that was like for you? Yeah.
It gave me clarity of thought
Ooh, yeah.
and helped me reach to a conclusion on where I want to go with this whole idea of my purpose. So
Wow. I think that's fantastic.
I figured out that purpose is multidimensional, and I just need to break it down into, a little bit of that is vision, impact, POE, and which of it was enemy for me. That helped me down in this multifaceted dimension that I figured out that, it's vision is not just one dimensional. It is very multidimensional when I collaborated with my purpose.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you. Yeah, brilliant.
And by the way, last time we did this vision session, it was online and it was shorter, so the time was even shorter. And people messaged me afterwards that they couldn't do it during the session because it was online and short and everything, but that they did it afterwards. It took more time and it was much easier. So if you can't come up with it now, don't panic. It's very normal. It's short, but maybe when you start thinking about it when you fly home, whatever that is, then it might be much easier then. Yeah.
I had one observation that I like to first, and I took your advice and said, let's experiment with that and try and draw for all those 4 boxes. And that helped me think about the problem space differently. Because it's working with constraints and under time. You
Yeah.
go with your knowledge that you have.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it does, I did this morning. You have dual coding. It's a theory that shows that if you process information in two different ways, with visuals and with text, something else happens in your brain. You remember it better and so on. So when you have a deep problem, it helps to draw it because you get different insights than when you would only write it. Nice, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Now we're going to draw. I know some did already because I asked or I stimulated that. But now we really are going to draw about a few topics that you have maybe written down. And you are going to draw as broad and as inspiring as you want. So which is very important is that your drawing doesn't have to be good. So it's not, you're not going to show it yet. You're not going to use it. It's just to help your juices flowing, if I can say it like that. So it's to express yourself. It's not to get to show, not like a child to show your parents and to ask confirmation. It's just to make it, like you said, much more real, to condense what you're thinking, to step away from all those words that can make it so confusing and difficult to express something. So how can you do that? So there are different ways of coming up with an image. And by the way, you can also use Flair. It's, by the way, something we invented. You can also use it when you look for pictures online, even if you wouldn't draw. Because very often we're going to find images that are really, really cliche. For instance, if you think about creativity or inspiration, what kind of image do you see? Creativity, inspiration, ID, light bulb. Exactly. So very often, the first thing we do is draw what's top of mind for everyone. And it can be helpful, but it can also be very boring. And it's not going to inspire you to go deeper into your content. So we have been thinking about what are different ways how we think when we are doing the graphic recording. We don't only go for the most obvious, we try to think sometimes a little bit further and deeper. And we have translated that into the Flair model. So there are different ways. So imagine a certain, you have a question? Oh, no. Okay. Like, oh, maybe you can draw it in the meantime. Psychological safety. That was a word that we heard yesterday. It's a very hard word to draw, I think. So we could maybe apply it to that Flair. So that word, I'm not going to repeat it. How does that feel? If you think about emotions related to that word, what do you feel? What does it feel? Safe.
Umbrella.
Umbrella.
Calm. Home.
Calm. Yeah.
Home.
Care.
Home. Care.
God.
So yeah. So Ben is now probably drawing family. Yeah. So all kind of feelings. Protection. So you could indeed draw in someone who is like feeling safe, centered, calm, protected, whatever. So that could be a drawing that you do for that word. Another one is look for a synonym. What could be another word for this term? Trust. Yeah.
Sorry, which question was this one?
Another word.
Oh, another word, yeah.
Trust.
And what was the word?
Same word, psychological safety. I'm not good for
No.
Trust.
Friend.
No, trust.
Oh, trust.
Oh my God, I have to do something with my English. Okay, so trust. What else?
Security.
Security. Yeah. Empathy. So you can start thinking about images that you see when you hear empathy or security. So you don't have to stick with that psychological safety. Sorry, it's a really difficult word for me. Why did we choose that? Okay, what does it look like? What do you see when you see that word?
Powerful guy like a Hulk.
Powerful. Explain that.
Like a Hulk, like one of those Marvel characters, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who's like super powerful to protect you.
Oh,
Like
oh,
a
yeah.
Wonder Woman or Superman.
Okay, so yeah,
I say dialogue, like people having a congenial dialogue.
a dialogue. Yeah, indeed. So a dialogue, a powerful person giving a hug, protect to protect. What else?
A heart,
What?
a heart.
A heart. Yeah, it can also be a heart. And like the umbrella is also a very good example. It's someone saw an umbrella. So that's also. Okay, what's the result of it? What could happen when it's there?
Productivity will increase.
Yeah,
And
productivity increases,
Satisfaction.
satisfaction increases,
Happiness.
happiness. So we have yeah. What else?
Retention.
Potential.
Profit.
Yeah, revenue or profit. So you see, those are already images that are not, if you would Google this word, you would not find images that are related to performance, for instance. But the story of your company, of your team can be that you want to have that to install a better performance. And then the last one, how is it experienced? How could it be experienced to have the safety in a team?
Confidence. Confidence.
Yeah, confidence.
You need to feel it.
You feel it, yeah.
Work-life balance. Work-life balance.
Yeah, a balance, work-life balance,
Health.
yeah.
Health.
Health.
Oh,
Yeah.
mental health.
Mental health, exactly, mental health, yeah. Yeah, or like a net where you can fall in without breaking your bones, whatever. So you see, so it's one word, and instead of just looking for the most obvious cliche icon you can find, you're going to explore a whole variety of points of view to look at the same word. Like I said, you can use it also on Google Images or whatever. If you want to go beyond the obvious, you can use this methodology. So our question now is take one word out of the previous work you did and try to take that word and apply flair to it. So try to draw different ways, draw that word in different ways, applying the different aspects of it. Is that clear? Yeah. So you don't have to draw everything, just one word that you think inspires you the most. Take that out of your previous work.
5 minutes enough or more?
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
And as Axelle was saying, see how you go with one word. You might want to do more than one word, like that's great too. But the idea of this exercise is to try to get out of the same river of thinking that you're always in and try something new. This is drawing to dream. You know, and give yourself permission to draw something you've never drawn before.
So we pick the word. We pick the word, whatever we want.
Yeah, you pick a word that inspires you.
Is it not the same vision we picked a while back? 5 minutes back, we picked a vision, we did a purpose, enemy and all of that. Do we continue that or is it?
Yeah, you can do further on the previous exercise. Yeah. So maybe you have written a few words there. Can you say one word, for instance?
I wrote about the education world without illiteracy.
Yeah.
Not world without education.
Yeah, so a world without illiteracy.
Illiteracy, yeah.
Okay, so you could try to, you can also translate that to the positive part and to the positive result, and then see how you would visualize it.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would that
That's a good
feel?
example.
Yeah, how would that feel? How would that look like? What's the result of that? So you really dream. Imagine that vision comes true. What could be the result? How would people feel? How would people experience it? So those, maybe another word for that. Okay, so try to come up with like, and it doesn't have to look nice. So don't worry if it looks like.
Is there any specific order?
No, just a kind of brainstorming. Yeah. And you don't have to do them all, but it's just helping you to go away from the most obvious thing. Yeah. And if you're really stuck in how to draw something, you have a, you can always ask.
About a minute and a half to go. Remember, it's key, try to go broad. You need, well, definitely for the third activity, you'll need more than one drawing to work with. Yeah. So at this point, you don't have to try to draw a picture of several images that all work together as a whole. We're going broad. They can be totally random, not connected. Just pick different words that matter the most to you from the first activity and try to draw those, as Axelle said, in different ways. Go broad. If you think, yeah, I'm done, we challenge you to try to push out a couple more.
By the way, for those who say I really can't draw,
Read my mind.
well, tomorrow morning I have a session about how to draw.
What is the difference between a view and a look again? The view and the look, what's the difference again? The view and the look.
The feel and the look, well, like safety, it feels like relieved, it's a feeling. You're going to express feeling.
Yeah, what does it feel like?
Yeah.
Does it make you feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The umbrella was more like what do you see? It was mentioned with the feelings, but for me it's more, what do you see? You hear the word safety, what do you see? How does it look like for you?
And back to the other question.
Yeah, so for those who want, if you really feel stuck in what you have to draw, when I teach how to draw, and I will do that tomorrow too, there are like websites. I could refer to Drawify, but the drawings there are too difficult. But I always recommend to go to websites like that Icon or the Nine Project. They have like those very ugly flat icons. It's not ugly, but it's very flat. That are really easy to draw and really easy to copy. It's just a few lines. So if you have eyes and you have a hand and you have a pencil, you can do it. It's just lines that you have to copy. And then you could say, okay, I go to flat icon and I'm going to look for an umbrella, or I'm going to look for a safety net. And then you will find them in the most easy way. So if you feel really, and if you really don't have inspiration, you can use that as a source of inspiration. I always say, don't use them in your PowerPoint presentation, but because that wants, I connect with the heart of people. It's way too flat. You have a question? Oh, no, I thought you did.
Are there two websites, Flat Icon and then nounproject.com?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, two separate. Yeah, and you can, it's very, yeah.
When you say draw, this writing a word, does it make a more impact in any ways? Like, for example, I see as a maybe culture.
Yeah.
Culture, I write a word
Yeah.
versus drawing a culture. Does it make any difference? Or does it make more impact if I draw than writing a word?
Yeah, the most impactful is to combine things. And especially if the word is supported by the image. So if you write bird and you draw a bird, it's not going to have so much more impact. But if you draw a bird and you write free, that's going to have, it gives more meaning. So by adding both, you give meaning to a word. Like a word is a word and you can translate it in many ways. Adding a visual adds meaning. But it's proven that seeing a visual takes like 300 times less energy from the brain than reading a word. So a visual is much easier, and especially drawings because they are simple, because it's not, there's not too much around, it's just simple. Apparently, yeah.
Thank you.
But the combination is always the most powerful thing to do. Okay, so I think time is up, right?
Yeah, I just want to, just to that point. I could write the word tree, and everyone has an idea in their head right now, don't you, about tree? But if I write the word tree and then draw what I think a tree, thinking about what we were just talking about, what we're doing, we're adding context to the word. I know it's small, but what we got here is someone resting in the shade of a tree. See how it enriches the meaning. If I just did that, you go, oh, no, it's nice. But both together, to Axelle's point, just gives more context.
But also, Olina, so our colleague this morning did also a drawing session. She has an exercise where you have to draw, I think, nine simple images in a kind of matrix. And then afterwards, they take the matrix away and you have to say what was where. You can easily fill it in. You will easily remember that was an apple, that was a banana. If it's words, you can't. So seeing the visual is for at least 80% of the people much easier to remember. So that's why.
Great questions, by the way. It's really good to hear you thinking. Speaking of questions.
Yeah, so one question on that, right? So the way the brain processes the information, how do you think this combination helps the brain retain that information? Do you see higher retention rates?
Yeah.
I'm no expert, but from what I've read, the place in your brain, well, there's several places in your brain that have to do with memory, storing information. How we store pictures are in different locations to how we store concepts. So the concept of psychological safety, like you can kind of get it, like it's a concept. That's based on your experience and a number of other things. But when you use both, there are actual new neurons that connect those two locations. That's why it's called dual encoding. And it's actually, you can see it in scans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, you can look it up. There's a lot of research about it. And it's already from the 70s, the guy who worked on it. So it's long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm certainly interested, as you did that, as you drew multiple drawings, did anyone have any insights or any comments they want to make about what that was like to do?
First, it was hard to pick the right image to draw, but then it triggered drawing more things that were related, and then that made the concept more rich.
Yeah, well, nice one, thank you.
Yeah, I'm curious at how somebody else looking at my drawings would draw a conclusion of what is the vision. So since my drawing is not as good as what you're doing here, right? So
yeah.
Oh, we can certainly get to that, but this one is all about you dreaming. You don't have to show anyone. And if you were to use this at work, the same applies. Like you're just drawing for you and you're drawing to explore. But to your point, at some point, you want to show something to other people. You have a specific audience in mind, and we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the next step, right?
It is. What a great segue.
Yeah, thank you. Other remarks before we go to the draw to show? Yeah.
Dual coding reminds me of, they say people who play the piano, they usually use their brains more because when you're thinking of pictures image, that is triggering the right side of the brain, which is focused more on creativity and emotions. And the left side of the brain is more focused on solving stuff. So words with pictures, it is probably triggering both sides of the brain simultaneously.
Yeah, yeah. It's indeed two different places where it happens and it connects.
Yeah.
That's, indeed.
You want to show?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Well,
Oh, hello.
before I ask, are there any people in the room that speak Dutch? Okay.
Get out.
Okay, only one, yes. I'm from Belgium, I'm Flemish, so that's the same language. Small accents, difference in accent. So I have an example from a Belgian company, organization. I'm not going to say what it is. So you don't understand what it says, so try not to read, because maybe you recognize some things. But try to tell me what you see, what you think it is about, okay? This is made by Drawify, by the way, so it's not drawn by ourselves, but we use Drawify to create that for the plan. What do you think it is? What is happening there?
Healthcare, like
Senior home?
Yeah, that's true. It's a senior home, yeah. It's in healthcare, of course, yeah.
Grooming?
What?
Yeah, some kind of grooming.
What's grooming?
Go ahead.
What means grooming?
Home health care for the elderly?
Yeah,
Yeah.
healthcare.
Yeah, healthcare for all the
Yeah,
people, yeah,
that's
right?
what-
Hiring the right talent for healthcare. Hiring the right talent to support.
Yeah, that's the lower part of it, indeed, yeah.
Bringing people together?
Yeah, bringing people together, yeah, indeed, the family,
Oh, supporting,
community,
right?
supporting.
I think what does an kind of old age home and elders require? What all they need, say for example, somebody staying in an old age home, because I know in Europe and in America, there are a lot of old age homes.
Yeah.
Probably that's what I'm assuming. What do they need at that age, right?
Yeah.
And then how do we bring everything together as a representation?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, other things that you see or that you think we're trying to
I think-
say?
elder people as the customers are the top priority.
Yeah, exactly. You completely told the story. Yeah,
I got very weird imagination here.
what, you have a way?
Very weird imagination.
Oh, wow.
So I see the bottom part, they are getting out of the plane, or somebody is taking them out of the plane. And then other way that somebody is supporting them to ship and taking them to their home.
Okay, yeah, that's also possible. So a little bit more
Yeah, it's
imagination.
not at all related what everyone says, but it is totally different imagination.
Yeah, but still.
Are they
So-
also,
Yeah.
are they also raising next generation talent because the younger associates is climbing up the ladders and they're saying we invest in multi-talented and passionate.
Yeah, so basically indeed, so they try to attract new talent, make them grow. Yeah,
I think there's a pain point of executives or people who are working, thinking about their parents being not entertained enough.
Well.
And you are bringing a way to bring them all together and
Yeah.
offer those services.
Yeah. It's not meant to be there in there, but I know the organization for 12 years or 15 years already. I'm helping him so many years already. And I know it's part of so it could be that it became that because of many of those people have their parents in elderly homes and they are frustrated about how it goes sometimes. And so there are like so many nursing homes in Belgium, like crazy. And it's very hard to attract talent, very, very hard, because no one wants to do it. By the way, I'm a nurse too from study, but no one wants to do that because it's hard work, it's less paid as well. So they really want to stand out with their vision and they really want to make the difference to attract talent easier. So yes, the part about talent, being able to grow, and then the key vision is that the patient or the person who lives there is key. Everything is around him or her, and he holds the wheel of his life, even if he or she is in the nursing home, which is very often not the case in other homes, because you come in, you have like a wonderful life, a house, a dog, whatever, and suddenly you become like patient. You don't have your own furniture, you don't have your own rhythm, you lose everything. So they try to do the opposite. So indeed, what you see on top is the whole family and everything who supports the life that they had before within the nursing home, and then below indeed. So that's the story. So it's very nice to see that you basically can tell the story even without the words. So so thanks for doing that.
Hey, Axelle.
Yeah. What?
I did. I just, in a way, took out the pictures and put in the meaning and context, because all of this is the vision. Like what we're showing you here is a vision. So notice a vision can be visualizing a system working together, attracting the right people as a team with the right mindset to give a desired experience based on their point of view. That makes sense?
Question.
I have a quick question. So you mentioned that this was made by Drawify, not by one of your artists.
Yeah, so
What is the input parameter you're putting to create this? Do you have a form that they fill and then the output is this drawing?
Oh yeah, we created this together. So so we did a kind of workshop together with, okay, what does it mean? What do you see? Oh, we see people supported. We see the family. We see, what are the typical things? Yeah, they want to go in a bath or not. They don't want to go in a bath, so they don't have to go. They want to go to bed when it's 11 and not at 6 o'clock when a certain team is going home. No, all those kind of things. So they have been talking about, they want to work in the garden. That's something that very often disappears when they come in a nursing home. So they talked about that. I've been writing and drawing a little bit, and then afterwards they have been looking for images in Drawify and created that visual.
So you have an app, right?
Drawify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the app also you can create something like this.
This is completely made in that. By the way, all the images, almost all the images are Ben's, I think, or a lot of them. Yeah. So you can, there are like 50,000 drawings of 30 different people that you can use and change colors and so on. Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's, yeah.
Axelle, when I saw this picture, I thought in the other way, because a lot of people who are, you know, in the middle age, or they are thinking of, okay, we are all going to reach that stage. So you start thinking about, as part of a retirement planning, okay, what will happen? Where will I go from 15, 20 years? So start thinking of that, investing where you have a doctor, a team of care team, which is thinking of different people growing old in different ways and what their life will be. So they start investing in it. I'm looking at it a different way.
Yeah.
That you start off over here. This is what we are now, but we will eventually reach over there.
Yeah, it's also true. Yeah. This is of course made from the vision of that nursing home. And before, because we have 20 minutes left, I will very, very shortly show you something completely different, which is, as you can see, because it's in English, it's the same kind of work, but made for a data company. It's completely different. So this is more like a process. So they have chosen to visualize their vision with a process. So you see, it's completely different from the previous. It doesn't have to look all the same, but the same exercise happened there. Okay, what do you see? What kind of images? How does that go? We had to organize a few things, and then we brought it together, and then you iterate a few times. So, oh, winning, people win, value, things. So that's how we created this vision. And that's the exercise, you know, now I'm going to do.
Can you see now why we were banging on about doing lots of different images, like drawing lots of different drawings, lots of variations? Because now it's time to refine and combine. So this is a way to draw to show. So to your point before, like, how do I now do something that, you know, is fit to put in front of people? Always remember, process as well as product. You can show sloppy first drafts. You can draw something maybe on a whiteboard and say, hey, does this make sense to you? What would you change? That's a fantastic, fruitful, interactive activity to do as a team. But what we'd like you to do is to look over what you've drawn, pick the best of your drawings? In other words, what ones jump out to you the most, that if you were to start to put them together, tell a visual story, really capture the vision that is reflected in the words that you did in the first activity. Think about how you might refine them. So if you've had one go at drawing it, this is the second iteration. So what you're after now is one page. So we encourage you to start with a nice fresh sheet of paper, and imagine this is going to be like a poster. And we actually hope that you want to take it with you. We hope this is something you go, hey, you know, I'm going to stick this on my fridge. Like, this is my vision, you know. And we, just to reiterate, we wanted to show you those two examples because the way you put images together shows your vision in different ways. It can show a system. It can show a process. Totally up to you. Or it can just show like one particular scene like that.
Yeah, it's just going to not the vision analysis.
Yeah. All right, so let's do it with energy. Last time we're drawing together. It's going to be great. I'll give you 5 minutes to have a go at that.
You will be rewarded with drinks because there is a reception after this session. Questions? Okay.
And again, have fun with it.
Yeah.
You know? This is something that we want you to explore and have fun with.
Because when I have multiple, like many things here on the like messy, my messy paper. So what's the best way to like actually combine it together so that it doesn't become chaotic?
Yeah, think about the most essential elements, like the parts that jump out to you, and then think, well, as far as what I want to communicate, my vision, am I wanting to communicate more about a result? Am I wanting to communicate more about how I'm going to get to that result? Am I wanting to communicate more of a change in mindset? And so you can kind of apply the flare method again. Like, do I want to communicate what it feels like, what it looks like?
Also, I'm quickly showing the vision mandala, what we call it. That's also a way of that we use a lot, especially in brainstorming with teams, where the most important visual that you put somewhere in the middle, and that maybe you enrich it with other things around. So that could also help. And even if the words, if you have only words around, that could also work already. So it doesn't have to be full of visuals.
Yeah, it's still visual.
Yeah.
But try to let go of the idea that you have to be right. You don't have to be right, you know, and especially first time, you don't have to be right. Yeah. Okay, go for it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, can we get a quick fist to 5, especially that thinking of all 3 exercises. How interesting was that for you? Where, you know, like that's 0, not interested at all. Just point me to the drinks, get me out of here. Or like, you know, all the way up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's changed my life. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, go. What have we got? We got 10. We got 4, 5, 5. Wow. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions before we go to the drinks?
Yeah.
Burning questions, you really want to have answers before we.
You have to look at the pictures and judge what the vision was.
Yeah.
What? You have to look at pictures and tell what your vision was. Like you try to.
If we had another half hour, sure.
Okay.
I just wanted to continue to improve on this. So what do you recommend I continue to do to get better?
Improving in visual communication, you mean? Or in this specific thing?
I guess visual communication would be, this is conveying something.
Yeah, first of all, and that's a little, so register on Drawify because we have monthly free sessions about all kind of aspects of visual storytelling. It's free, you can join it, it's 1 hour, 1 or 2, and it's people like us, it's other Drawifys. And it's every time something, the next one is about how to pick the right visuals for the right audience. So if you have like very blue banking people, what kind of images do they like and so on. So every month it's something else, and it's very broad and with very inspiring people. So that's one thing. So follow people that are good at it. Follow people, I guess. No. Just follow them on Instagram, on LinkedIn, whatever, and steal from them. When I started, I had a few people that I liked very much, and I just learned from them. I just copied what they did and I made it my own. So that's very important. And then, of course, you have like all kind of books about it. I have a book, Start to Draw, but he has also.
Start sketching.
Yeah, so there are so many books you can read about it, and just practice and ask feedback, and go out of your comfort zone. It's very scary sometimes, I must admit. I remember, and I still have the video. So just do it, and you will learn. You will learn and grow very fast. That's for sure. Question there.
Actually, probably say you draw. I'd like to draw maybe with my iPad. What are the best apps?
Procreate, it's probably the easiest one, the cheapest one, and with the most possibilities. The one we use, if you want to use vector images, which could be important if you want to do something with it. Then it's concepts what we use, and then you have also paper or something.
Yeah, there's one called Paper.
Yeah.
It's called Paper. By what's their company name is We Transfer, but the app is just called Paper.
Yeah.
And there's an Adobe one, which I forget the name.
Critical, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I think everyone in our business, they all use, I think, the most used Procreate.
Yeah.
Procreate is really, has a lot of features, it's quite easy. Yeah. And also you can make like a time-lapse video with it. So you can make very easy videos of your drawing, it works well on social media. Yeah. Other questions? Okay, let's go for the thing then. Thank you.